If you're after a long vehicle, this could be your pick. It's the Land Rover Defender 130. This is the long wheelbase version of the latest Defender. It's an 8-seater, which, you know, that's pretty rare these days for a proper heavy-duty SUV. But you've got more passenger space than any other Defender in the range. You've got the 110, which you can get with 7 seats as well, but it's quite cramped in the back. This has got a proper third row of seats, 3 seats right at the back. This example's got a number of options and accessories, including a nicely integrated nudge bar at the front. So it kind of just looks like the design of the Defender from a distance. It's not until you get close that you see it actually protrudes out a little bit, gives you a bit of protection if you're off-roading or whatever. It's also got some roof racks, side steps, and the X-Dynamic pack with all-terrain tyres. And around at the back, you've got the spare wheel mounted externally on the tailgate, which is great. It means if you're off-roading, you don't have to get under the vehicle where it's all muddy, and you don't have to get a spare wheel out from underneath the boot on the inside and put a dirty flat tire back in there. It's also got some proper recovery points there if you're serious about off-roading, and an external ladder so you can climb up and get things off the roof racks. I love the design of the latest Defender. It looks very modern, but still harks back to the original. It would have been a hard task to come up with a new design, especially for such an iconic model, but I think they've done really well with this. It does have the checker plate on the bonnet, but it's just plastic in this case. Kind of sticks up a little bit there on the corner. Whereas the original had proper checker plate that you can walk, or you could walk on the bonnet. You even had a spare wheel mounted on the bonnet on some models. But even so, I think it's modern. It looks luxurious and a bit flash, but still, yeah, rugged, and it looks like it could go off-road quite nicely. As much as I like the exterior, the interior is perhaps even better. Like, it's got all these little shelves and so on that run all the way across the dash. You've got plenty of storage down in the center console. It's a multi-level one, so you can put stuff down the bottom there. And this example's also got a fridge in the middle with 2 settings. It's actually really cold when you turn it on. I love that it just has a plastic floor as well, so it does have a bit of an insert here, but even underneath that, it's all just plastic, so you don't have to worry about getting nice carpet all muddy. It does come with carpet mats, but yeah, you can just remove those if you want to. And then inside, excellent driving position. There's a lot of traffic over there today. It's quite noisy. But yeah, it's a really nice interior. I could spend hours in here going on a nice big family road trip. Good seating position or driving position. Steering wheel's pretty large, but it feels good in your hands. Like, it's just got that nice feeling about it. And it's got the latest POV Pro touchscreen system. It's much quicker than the earlier systems. And you've got lots of different apps and settings to play around with, including a 4x4 page. And of course, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and all of that. Then you do have some driving modes to select from once you click this little button. You've got Eco, Comfort, Mud Ruts, Gravel, and Waiting. It's got fully adjustable air suspension, so you can lift it up or raise it, lower it right down. When you get out of the vehicle, it goes to a access height mode, which is really low, and it makes it easy to get in and out of, even though this does have the side steps. But yeah, if you raise it right up, you've got plenty of clearance. I'm not going to take this example off-road. I've got a 110 booking coming up. We'll take that off-road, almost because entirely I'm pushing for time today, but I think the breakover angle in this example would be reduced a little bit because it is quite long. It's over 5.3 meters long total length. But we'll check out the third row. I think that's going to be the most important thing with going with the 130. You can, of course, get the 90 as well, which is a very cute. It's still quite big actually, but yeah, it looks awesome. It's got awesome approach and departure angles and even better breakover angle. Just before we get to the third row, the middle row is very spacious and comfortable. You've got full climate controls, climate vents, including in the ceiling. And then you've got lots of storage options around the place, bottle holders in the doors. I love the attention to detail on the design. Like the back of that, it's got this rubber grippy padded section, so you can just grab that handle nice and easily, and you've got handles on the B-pillar as well. These seats are fully adjustable, so they slide on rails, and they're also got recline adjustment too, so I can just sit back and relax if I want to. And I've got plenty of room, more than enough leg room and more than enough headroom for my height. I'm only 170 centimeters, but still, I think even if you were really tall, you'd have no problem sitting here and just going for a nice comfortable journey. And right up the back, pretty easy mechanism for the seat. It just pulls forward and then slides as well. So you've got a decent amount of clearance to get in. And once you're back here, it's actually quite spacious. I mean, look, my knees aren't even touching that middle row, and you can slide that middle row forward, remember, as well. So if I wanted more space, there's more available. I think the main thing though is that the floor drops down. There's actually a step there, which you don't get in a lot of 7-seat SUVs. The floor is quite high, especially like the Land Cruiser and the Patrol to some extent as well. The floor is quite high because all of the heavy duty running gear pushes everything up, and then of course you want ground clearance as well. This has got independent suspension, but yeah, you've definitely got a nice big step. So my feet drop down. They're not, my knees in my eye sockets. It's actually pretty spacious. I don't know about the middle row. The seat isn't very comfortable in terms of the cushioning and everything. You'd be a little bit squashy in terms of width, but you've got 8 seats, so you don't get that with a lot of the 7-seat rivals. And look at the headroom. My head's nowhere near the ceiling, and my knees again are not touching that seat in front. You do have cup holders, USB port there, little hidden one, and then climate vents as well. Yeah, if we have a look at that seat cushion, you've got these big gaps here, so your bum kind of sits on this and just rocks side to side. But if you're sitting in the middle, it probably means you've got people on the outside too, so they'll keep you kind of aligned. You'll just be rubbing shoulders with them a little bit, and your bum will try and find a spot on that little bridge. Again though, it's got 8 seats, so that's a benefit. You could use this as a 7-seater, no problem at all, and yeah, I can just move my legs to the side a little bit, and I've got plenty of room. Got good visibility as well, like I can see out over the windowsill. If you've got kiddies or whatever, they're going to be about the same height as me, and yeah, they're going to see out and not feel claustrophobic or potentially get car sick. You still have some boot space left over as well, so check out that. Side hinged tailgate, and with a bit of storage in the back of the tailgate. And then yeah, that might not look like much space in terms of the depth going in, but it's not too bad. But it is quite a big vehicle, so you got to remember that's a wide space, and it's quite tall as well. I don't think you'd get 7 people's worth of luggage in the back there, but if you're picking up kids from school or whatever, you definitely get some school bags stacked in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could easily fit 7 school bags in there, I think, without much trouble. This is oops. And you've got this cloth parcel shelf as well, which you can easily just take off if you need to. Got a nice big storage bucket there, so if you want to put wet gear in there, that's going to be good for that. And then you've got an Australian outlet plug on the side as well. All right, we'll go for a drive now and see how it handles. I'll try and find some dirt roads or something just to see how the tyres cope and to see how the air suspension does on really rough surfaces. And then we'll get stuck into the performance testing. Under the bonnet, we've got a 3-litre turbo diesel inline 6 engine. This is a perfect engine for this style of vehicle. Smooth, responsive, with plenty of power and torque in reserve. 258 kilowatts and 700 newton meters. So even though this does weigh just under 2.6 tons, Land Rover claims 0 to 100 in 6.8 seconds, which is one of the quickest big 7-seater SUVs currently on sale, aside from really ridiculous high performance models from AMG and BMW M and so on. It doesn't really feel big on the road in terms of country road settings like this. It feels pretty much exactly like the 110. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult to park in city situations compared with the 110. But yeah, overall, like most utes are about 5.2, 5.3 meters long as well, so it's going to be about the same as that. It doesn't feel overly wide or anything like that. It's just that it's long. Visibility out the front is absolutely excellent. I can see clearly where the vehicle is placed on the road. We've even got some visibility between the mirror and the pillar. And I'm also sitting quite high, so I've got a good view around me. I can easily see over the side windowsill. Out the back, the view is a little bit confined just because you've got so many headrests popping up there. But this example does come with a digital rear view mirror, so you can see beyond the seats. It's just that it's zoomed in a little bit too much, I think. If it was just peeled back a bit more of a wide angle, you'd have a better view, I reckon. But you can just flip it back to a standard mirror setup as well if you don't like the digital view. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but yeah, it's definitely handy, especially if you're carrying 7 passengers. Their heads are going to be in the way as well. So up this steep hill, plenty of torque. It's just churning along, barely 2,000 RPM. I'm just touching the throttle. Give it full power. Actually, we'll slow down a tiny bit. There's a car coming. Full power, and it just really gets up and goes. It's got a bit of an aggressive characteristic to it as well. Like, it doesn't mind revving right out, and it doesn't sound strained. It doesn't sound all clattery like a typical old diesel. It sounds very smooth and refined. Fuel economy, I'm averaging 12 litres per 100 at the moment, but I did reset the computer not that long ago, or 85 kilometres ago, and that was mainly traffic driving, like in the suburbs and so on. So you definitely get that much lower. I think the official rating is around 8 to 9 litres per 100. I think you realistically get under 10 in real world driving, especially if you're doing a bit of country roads like this. In terms of ride and handling, yeah, that air suspension soaks up the bumps beautifully, and it handles quite well. I mean, it does feel quite heavy, and there's a little bit of swaying going on. There's no dynamic mode or sort of sporty mode for this variant, but yeah, this platform I have experienced, it does have good foundations, in other words. It's just that this is set up, this specific example is set up for a bit of off-roading. It does have the air suspension and so on, so you can, you've got a bit of versatility there. There are a few little creaks and rattles coming from the door trims when I'm going over bumps. Nothing major, but yeah, you can just hear it sort of rattling around a little bit. More the rubber seal in the door is sort of just squeaking up against it. It might be because it's been raining and it's a bit wet, and it might be just making a bit of a noise compared with normal, but yeah, there's just a little bit of a rattle there. Or not a rattle, just a squeak. But overall refinement and quietness is really good. Like, I'm talking at a very moderate level. I don't have to raise my voice even at 100 kilometers an hour. And it is, not the most aerodynamic shape out there. It's quite a big brick of a thing driving along, but there's no major wind noise or air whooshing sounds around the mirror. It's yeah, really comfortable and refined. I do like driving this. Like, it feels like you're driving a safari vehicle kind of, but it's really modern and practical inside. It's just got that character about it, and I love this engine. I think this is a perfect engine for this style of vehicle. As I said, you can get this with a V8 in some trim levels and so on, which is very cool. But again, I think if it was my money, I'd just buy the D350. Plenty of torque, plenty of power. It really gets up and goes, but mainly it's effortless. It doesn't feel like you're pushing it heaps to get the job done. Down through these little S-bends, I can feel the weight a little bit, and it's moving around. But it is a long vehicle. Did I mention it's a long vehicle? It's so that's going to come with certain characteristics no matter what. I mean, it should increase stability, high-speed stability, having a long wheelbase and a long vehicle. I think the air suspension and the tyres just might be giving me that feeling where it's, it's not a nimble sports car. But overall, I think it's great that Land Rover does offer this longer wheelbase version. So if you are carting around 7 or 8 people regularly, then you've got the option here, and it's comfortable. It's, you can put adults in the back. If this is not just a 5+2 seater. This is a proper, at least 7-seater. I mean, that middle seat is a little bit tight in the third row, but you've definitely got space for 7 adults. on dirt roads. We can raise the suspension up to off-road height, just give us a bit more clearance, but also provide a bit more wheel travel as well in case we hit a nasty pothole or need to climb up a little mound or something like that. And yeah, again, that air suspension definitely irons over the bumps and, you know, irregular surfaces and so on. Makes it a more pleasurable drive when you're, you know, going camping or whatever. You can hear a few more of those creaks and squeaks from the doors when you're off-road. Because this is such a long vehicle, the torsional stiffness, I mean the torsional tension that this is going to be under is going to be magnified compared with a smaller or shorter wheelbase vehicle. So you are going to get a bit more flex no matter what. But yeah, those doors are squeaking around. I guess the good thing about this is it's a genuine 8-seater or at least a 7-seater, and you can go off-road. So there's not many vehicles out there that can actually go off-road quite well with center and rear diff locks, adjustable ground clearance, and you can get it with these all-terrain tires. There's just not many options out there. So if you are looking to buy, or if you need a 7-seater and you're going to be driving on roads like this regularly or more serious stuff, then the Defender 130 is definitely one of your only options, and it's a great option. Very refined on the road, comfortable, lots of practical minded features, but still very capable. And as I said, this engine is a beauty. All right, we'll just check out the flex over this little section here. You've got some clever camera angles as well going through here. You've got a good front view camera, and it is transparent, so I can see exactly what I'm driving over. You can hear a bit of that flexing going on. Over that little ditch, no problem, plenty of wheel travel. You've got side views as well, so you can see if you're coming up against a ledge or something like that, you can see how close you're getting. There's also a top view somewhere as well. Yeah, so you can actually click individual cameras and get a view of your wheels and where the vehicle is placed, which is awesome. Excellent if you're doing serious off-roading or even just navigating a tight camping spot or driveway or whatever. Just one other little feature I quite like in this is you've got the safety system. So a lot of vehicles have modern safety tech, driver monitoring camera, lane keep assist, all that sort of stuff. This has all of it as well, except when you get in, you just got this driver assistance button. You can actually change it from high, medium or custom and low. So as soon as you get in, just bang that 3 times, it'll go into the low setting. The lane departure warning turns off. I mean the steering assist and all that annoying stuff turns off. The speed limit warning numbs right down to just show the speed limit, the current speed limit, and they do get it wrong sometimes, not just in the Land Rover, but in a lot of vehicles I've tested, the speed limit sign is showing an incorrect speed, so kind of pointless. But then the most annoying part is when it starts going off. So if you go over 1 km/h over the speed limit, or what it thinks is the speed limit, it starts sending off all these buzzers and warnings. So when you go into the low mode, that's turned off, and it's just such an easy solution to this problem of where we have to get in the vehicle and turn all of the settings into our favorite setup. This, you just go bang, 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 hit it into the low setting, or you can go into that custom mode as well and configure that. Then each time you get in, you just hit that twice and you'll go into the custom mode. Really good stuff. That camera will keep running too, which is nice to see. So as you're going through your tracks, you can just keep an eye on the bodywork and the wheels as you're going. All right, let's head out now to do the performance test and see what it goes like.